Hey, good morning, everybody. This is self-elected ape of the year, and today I want to explain how the dynamic campaign on the Combat Box server works. Um, First of all, I don't really understand it extremely well so far, so I've been doing a little bit of research, and I can explain to you guys the current state, put everything in a nutshell, and condense everything to quick info that people are easily capable of understanding. The information that we have on the homepage of the Combat Box server and everything, some stuff is a little bit vague and it's a little bit hard to understand. For example, I cannot explain to you guys how the algorithm works that calculates the new frontline after each mission. But I will do my best to explain to you guys just real quick how it roughly works. So there might be some flaws and some mistakes in my explanation, but on top of it all, you have to know that everything is work in progress anyways. So things are going to change in the future. So first of all, what you have to know is we have this whole front line right here. The German territory goes far into the east. You see all these objectives and all these airfields, and the Allied forces can capture these objectives one by one, destroy them and lower their supply. And how this works is every objective that you see here, for example, there are smaller objectives, then there are bigger objectives, and there are these airfields. And these small objectives, they have a supply of maximum 100 if they are completely intact. These bigger objectives have a supply of up to 300 if they are fully intact. And the airfields have a supply of 200. And these are basically numbers, values that are going into the algorithm that changes the front line, or how the front line is being calculated for the next mission. And for example, if we have a supply of 30 right here left, and we have 180 here, 100 here, and 250 here, then this is going to make the front line a little bit further advanced. And if we have lower supplies, each of these values is going to have an outcome on the front line for the next mission. So the specific way how that is being calculated, I cannot tell you, and it's probably not very easy to understand anyways. So, but important for everybody to know is that we have to lower the supplies of enemy targets. And also important to know is that if a target from the enemy is going to be behind the front line, then it's automatically deactivated. So you see right here, the grayed out target right there. Yesterday I did a mission here where I destroyed some targets right there. And also we have been destroying this target that was right here. I'm going to put in some videos in the background where I show these things. And yeah, that has an effect on the front line. And by this, for example, here, we captured this target basically and advanced the front line in a way that this target, which was in the enemy possession, is now grayed out and has no supply for them anymore. It's also important to know that every airfield has some kind of supply function for the targets around them. So the closer a target is to an airfield, the more supply this airfield is going to produce on these targets. So it's basically like a repair function. So every day these airfields are intact, they are going to increase the value just a bit for the targets that are around them. There are different kinds of areas of effect, so the closer the target is, the more effect the airfield is going to have. So this is also very important, so it's not only important to destroy the enemy airfields, because then no players can spawn there, it's also having a huge effect on the numbers and the amounts, the values of the targets around them. So airfields are actually a very, very sensible target to pick. And of course for obvious reasons, but also for the supply reason. And you see right here, for example, you have this line, and these lines here. These are supply routes. And for example, on this supply route, we have a train that is driving from this position right here to this target. And if it gets to the target, it's also going to increase the supply of the target. So intercepting these trains or these columns, whatever is driving there, trying to get to these positions, intercepting those is also very sensible and has a huge effect. So every day, right here, every server mission goes for 2 hours, and it plays a campaign day, a full campaign day. And these days they play somewhere in the 1940s, so it's somewhere in the year 1944, and it's limited to a certain amount of days. I'm not sure which day we are on. Here we see we are now at day 259, so there's about 100 days left. So but if we say that we are going to have roughly 20 missions a day, so about 5 real-life days, this campaign is going to go on before this year is at the end. I'm not sure if it's going to progress into 1945, but that's basically the rough situation. And so for 5 days, I think this campaign is still going to go on, and so far it looks pretty good for the Germans. As you saw in a previous video, I will put it in the background here. Just a couple of days ago, the front line was from about here to here, and this factory was still in Allied hands, and everything progressed so far. And like you saw in another video where I attacked this target, just yesterday this target was still in Allied hands, and this target was destroyed, and the front line has been pushed back. So we nearly, the Germans have nearly defeated the Allies so far, which is a first. This never happened before. It's historically a little bit incorrect, but well, guys, sometimes the Germans also win, at least in a virtual reality. So yeah. So far, this has never happened. Every campaign that previously happened, the Germans always lost. I'm not sure what the difference is. They have tweaked and changed some things to make it a little bit more interesting and less one-sided. So something seems to work here. Or maybe just people are trying better to work on the German side this time. I don't know. But yeah, so far, it looks like we are going to defeat the Allies and push them back. But let's see how that develops. So you now should be able to understand everything a little bit better. So we have these targets, they have values, and these values are being put in a mathematical equation, and this algorithm changes then the outcome of the results from the front line for the next mission. And it makes a lot of sense to attack the airfields first. Defeat the enemy, make sure that he cannot spawn in so close to the front line, but also it lowers the amount of supply for the targets next to it, and yeah, and then try to destroy those targets one by one, especially the ones who have a high supply count. I'm not quite sure how this works, if you can do some kind of in-game real supply drops. I have no idea if this really works or if this is implemented yet, but this is also an interesting point to think about. And yeah, so I will keep track on the progress of the front lines and give you my next status report next Sunday. I hope I will be able to produce a video every Sunday. I have some real life challenges going on, which are, some goals that I've always had and never have been doing. And I don't want to talk too much about it. I will show you the results once it's done, because some of the stuff is really relevant for this channel as well. But yeah, so I hope you have now a rough understanding of how these things work. and I will show you guys how things developed in the next progress report. And once I have a lot of nice airfights and stuff, I will do some compilations too. Okay, this is the Self-Elected Ape of the Year signing off, and I hope you have a nice day.